Hello, my name is Jeff Pagano, and welcome to Harpin on Rugby, where with the help of some fellow fans, I get the chance to harp on what's going on with Leinster, Ireland, and the wider rugby world. Joining me to discuss the latest off-season rugby topics is someone making their Harpin debut. He is known on rugby Twitter as the constant nemesis of the Welsh shit-stir-in-chief Edward Jenkins. A warm welcome to Mr. Jason Long. Hello, sir.
Hey, Jeff. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
No problem at all. Great to have you on. Right. It's time to look now at our feature match, which was Ireland's final pool match at the World Under-20 Championship. Ireland needed a bonus point win to reach the Final Four, and despite all the difficult times faced by the squad, they managed it with a 47-27 win that included 2 tries each from Brian Gleeson and Gus McCarthy, plus 1 each from Sheehan, Haddon, and Osborne. It was quite a match considering all that's been happening. What did you make of it?
Yeah, 12 tries all told. You know, it was and the range of tries, we had. And in fairness to Fiji, they were well worth it, right? Like we had pure pick and jam, forward-driven stuff. We had crazy Fiji 80-meter run-ins. It kind of had it all, right? And I thought the guys were so impressive, both externally from obviously the stuff that's gone on with what they have to deal with in the weeks previous, or the days previous, I should say. But even in a more rugby term, the amount of changes from last game to this. I think 13, or maybe 12 or 13, I'm not sure.
Yeah, to make a lot of changes,
yeah. Like to come out there and put that first half an hour in where they by and large got the buffer in. Now Fiji got 2 really quick tries, crazily good tries after half time, which kind of squeaky bum time. But yeah, it was so impressive. And you know, they probably made it a little hard for themselves. I thought that the line-out started to squeak big time when Fiji start competing, but Gus McCarthy, Sam Prendergast kind of slid on, start taking the game by the scruff of the neck. And yeah, it was a really, really polished, professional performance given everything that was going on in the background. So what did you think, I guess?
Yeah, no, it was like we were all saying that when the game kicked off, is like there's literally nothing these guys can do wrong today. After all they've been through, but they still put in it was a classic performance from them. I mean, yeah. We've seen them going back to the Six Nations and stuff. You know, they sometimes let in a couple of tries in a couple of matches they've been behind. But they've just shown that they're a group of lads that there's always a try in them. They just always, if they need one, it's like it's right there. They just have to just pull into the back pocket and get it, and then they can get the job done. But I mean, like, first of all, like you say, from Fiji's point of view, I mean, they played really well. They had a good tournament. They ran Australia, close enough. They got a bit of a beating by England, but they still picked. They didn't make a lot of changes themselves to this squad. And of course, before the game, they did that incredible gesture where they handed over the jersey. It was just before. I suppose they figured they're about to do their kind of war dance, their version of the hack. I think it's called the Thimby. Before that, so just before that, just to show respect, they gave a jersey to the Irish team, and that was really good there. And but then they went on to play. Now the early stages, we were able to inhibit, obviously, whatever level you're talking Fiji, they're looking for that offload game. They're trying to get it. And our defending has been so good, in this tournament as well, that we were able to thwart that in the early stages. But then in the start of the second half, it was starting to click for them. Like you say, they got 2 quick tries. But once we got the bench, I think, like the introduction of Sam Prendergast, like you said, and McCarthy and players coming in there, they were able to, like I say, find those tries when they needed them, and they just pulled away and was able to get the job done. And to just another note on Fiji, they've one player called Moses Magoon, which I think is one of the coolest rugby names I've ever heard. Yeah. It's one, like, as soon as you see it written down, you just have to say it out loud. But
it has to score because we have to talk about it.
Oh, please, yeah, please score, or more scrums or something like that. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, it was a great win. The England-Australia games, for some reason, kicked off half an hour later. So they had a bit of an advantage. So if we hadn't gotten the bonus point, they would have known what they needed to do. But we got the job done. We got 4 tries and then some, and comfortable enough in the end. And like you say, we had made so many changes, so hopefully they'll be rested up for the semi-final on Sunday.
Yeah, and there was some seriously fantastic performances. I thought Nicholson was excellent. Like that break down the wing deserved the try. I thought that our Osborne's try, where kind of Sam did a little cheeky tip in pass and he ran it in from the length, it was excellent. And Gleeson is just a freak. It's just an absolute freak.
He seems to be getting bigger in every game.
Yeah. As the game goes on, he grows.
Exactly.
As he gets angrier, he gets bigger. It's incredible. Like the standard so far has been incredible, and the standard of this game, considering most of them weren't playing the previous game, it's incredibly impressive. It's so impressive, and it's really fun game. It was just really fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, we missed these tournaments because obviously with COVID put paid to them for a couple of years, and you know, we haven't traditionally done well. Well, we haven't done well in any World Cups, I suppose, but we got to the final one year, we got to semi-final another year, but getting to the final four hasn't been easy for us. But with this particular group of lads, and you know, and a fair shout to the Grand Slam team from the year before as well. Had there been a competition at the end of that year, they probably would have done well at it as well. But it's good to see them being able to carry that form forward and still be able to get the job done in June. It's been great to see, especially with these 5-day turnarounds. It's a really tough tournament to manage. Yeah,
it was very, I suppose, one of the aspects that was leading up and the worries that was leading up was the kind of discipline in the last couple of weeks. I think it was three red cards technically in 2 games. So it was really pleasing to keep a clean bid for this one. Would have been, especially against Fiji. They're hitting you hard, they're hitting you fast, and you have to get your tackles right. And it was great to see. So you can see the lads working on things week in, or game in, game out, I guess, because they don't even have a week. But it's fantastic. Really good.
Yeah, it was a downside to those first 2 matches because it was not only just 2 red cards, but in the almost exact same fashion at the exact same point of the game as well. And and you can't replace those players who get banned, and it's dangerous and it's all kinds of stuff as well. So, like you say, there has been a downside, but again, even without the adversity, it's these under 20s that the whole purpose of it is for them to learn, to get the experience of tournament play, and the squads, traveling with the squad and getting to play in these competitions. It's all going to stand to them in the future. And we were saying before the competition started how maybe 10, 12 years ago, you look at an under 20s lineup from this competition and you say, well, where are they now? I have a feeling that for this squad, we're looking at 10 years, we'll know where they all are, pretty much, most of them anyway, because there's loads of talent right through the squad, and hopefully all the provinces will benefit. And
I mean, even Sam Berman, who I think they had to call up because of the red cards, right? He slotted in incredible. Like at this level, at that age, like the level of professionalism, it's so impressive. I mean, I think they were saying, not sure who was on comms, but they were saying he was in Budapest on holiday or something, and he came in and he the week before. So it's incredible stuff. It's really impressive.
Yeah, really good. Really enjoyed it. And just before we finish on that, we just want to recognize that in future, when we talk about the Irish under 20s, we do have to distinguish between genders, as on the day as we're recording, the first ever Irish women's under 20 squad was named. They're off to Italy in a couple of weeks, so that's great news. And of course, best of luck to them all. Well, listen, Jay, I really enjoyed that chat. There's tons of rugby this weekend, so I'll have plenty to talk about. There's the sevens. Just a quick shout out to the sevens as well. They're playing, the men's and women's are both playing in a competition this weekend. It's kind of a European series, and they both qualified for the Olympics. That's the main thing. I think they just can go out and enjoy themselves and get a bit more practice for those Olympics and what's coming down the line. But they're playing Friday and Saturday, and I think Sunday as well. And of course, we got the Rugby Championship. There's the Major League Rugby Final. There's the under 20s. There's tons of stuff this weekend. And listen, it's been great. It's great having you on, and we hope to have you on for more pods in the future.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Jeff.
No problem at all. Thank you, sir.